Reinventing Government was an argument that we were having such trouble with our public institutions because they evolved along one model, which we call bureaucracy, which is only one form of organization. But in the industrial era, it was the dominant form of organization for both business and government.
Governments have a 19% approval rating generally. Local governments are a little bit higher than that. And the idea was that we should do something to change that public perception about our industry. And I began as a young manager to accumulate ideas from my fellow city managers around the country and began to implement those in the city jurisdictions where I was city manager. People said, why don't you write a book?
In the 1980s, when we began working on the book, we had presidents who said that government's not the solution, government is the problem. And it was clear that we needed to change our public institutions if the public was going to believe in them again.
The managers are hired to manage, and many of us get good at that. The trick is not to just be a good manager, but to be a good change agent. The biggest disappointment I've had about the book and its impact is that not more of our managers have decided that they could step up and be change agents in their own communities rather than just good at managing their organizations.
When we published, the idea that public institutions had customers was considered heretical. We were attacked roundly for it. Today, it's the norm. When we published, almost no governments were measuring performance. Now, that's the norm.
It's been very pleasing for me to see governments focus on outcomes rather than what we managers were originally trained at in our graduate schools of focusing on the ratio of inputs to outputs, which is efficiency. Getting managers to focus on the improvement of the quality of lives of citizens through any means, not necessarily through services that government that they run provides, is a real breakthrough.
Today, the greatest frustration is with politicians and elected officials. And if I were writing a book today, it might focus more on how we can change the political process because it's incredibly dysfunctional.
I've been asked whether we would make changes, and the book actually has quite a bit of currency to it. There certainly would be more technology because it was pre-internet. And the ability to get citizens involved in technologically enhanced ways is different, and we would probably write more about that.